How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Owlet, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today, we're going to be covering some stuff that I know for a fact is going to be worthwhile taking a look at here, guys. We're going to be covering an old rumor known as Pokemon Plus and Pokemon Minus. Now, I know a lot of people have most likely heard about this. If you haven't heard about this, this is an old rumor from the start of 2014. This was before Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were revealed. Now, to establish a few things, right? Why are we talking about Pokemon Plus and Minus? Why is there even any possibility of this being real? Well, because that original rumor actually predicted, or rather knew, about the Switch console, this thing, before the Switch was even revealed, and before the Switch was even conceivable in our brains, right? There were not many rumors of that back in 2014, that there was going to be a brand new, brand new Nintendo console, because the Wii U was still, is still on sale. I mean, it wasn't selling too good, but it was still on, the cutting board. So, the Switch was only in its earliest development at this point, and some way, this guy right here knew about this ahead of time, and this gets me very intrigued, guys. So here is the old rumor here. This was from back in 2014 in January. Again, remember, guys, this was way before, way before we even had the reveals of ORAS. And also, hello, Facecam back. So this was before ORAS was even revealed, which makes me very interested into knowing, what do we have on our hands here if this ends up being real? So again, keep in mind, a lot of things have to be established here if you guys understand what I'm trying to get across. Now, this isn't everything, though. There are other things here that I want to mention as well that are, kind of interesting to me, and I really want to kind of establish them before we go any further here, because I have a bunch of theory videos, speculations and stuff coming your way about the next region being based maybe in Brazil or somewhere in South America, because there are a lot of hints towards that. Also, that tree from yesterday, that Christmas tree, it actually had 2 Mews on it, which I didn't realize that while making the video. I didn't realize that straight away, but 2 Mews equals Mewtwo, right? And of course, we know there's a brand new Mewtwo movie supposed to get a trailer in December, which is very hype, and apparently, according to Paul Ryan and according to some people, apparently it's going to have a huge impact. That trailer is going to have a huge impact, and that's where Generation 8 is going to kick off. That's where the starting point for what Generation 8 is going to be is going to start. So, I'm excited for that. Now, of course, before we get into that stuff, we have other videos to make and all that stuff, but I want to talk about this rumor originally, first of all, because this one actually has a lot of things to say here, and I really want to cover it. Now, first of all, I want to cover a few things first, and that is this tweet here by Junichi Masuda, which again also shows the globe here, like last time, except this globe, it has the sunflowers, which, and it also shows the world right here, the globe, but the only difference here, though, with the globe is, it's in a totally different space, and also, there's another image that kind of has a lot of intrigue to it. So this was posted by, I think, let me see who posted this. This was, posted by Heavy here on Twitter. So Heavy posted something, which is an interesting theory, and the point that needs to be taken is that these are 2 different images right here. So this image right here, notice this one, right, versus the Masuda image right here. Notice how the globes are different, right? This globe is showing, I think, unless I'm mistaken here, this is Africa right there. This is Africa, and I think that right there is like Saudi Arabia, Yemen down here. I think this is Africa right here, and that's like Europe up there. But here it's showing like Africa, right? And this was an old tweet from back in like, apparently they said it was like 2016, apparently. Again, we'll read the actual post here by your boy and see what it actually says here. So, Heavy said here's the picture that was posted before Sun and Moon's reveal. A globe with Hawaiian flowers. Fast forward to yesterday's night. A new globe with only half shown, just like the last time. But instead of flowers, we have Plusle and Minun plushies. And that is true. You can see down there, guys, we got Plusle and you got Minun down there, just chilling. But this, back then, it was just kind of, just a Pikachu and Eevee. Pikachu and another Pikachu. And it was just flowers from Hawaii, I guess. Now, do remember that, like I said right now, there are 2 different tweets. This one is different, though. This was posted back in April, and this one was also celebrating the 29th anniversary, but this image was different, though, as it didn't have, see, like, the globe is in a different position. Here, I'm not even sure what it's showing right here. I can't really tell if this is, like, what part of the world this is. Like, it's kind of hard for me to tell, like, just, because the clouds and everything just covering it, but, it's a totally different part of the actual globe, so it isn't the same image. These are 2 different images if you compare these 2, right? Just compare them here. That's Africa. This is not the same place. It's a different image. And this was posted on April 2018, 26th of April 2018. But apparently this image right here, this other one, that one right there, which also does look different when you compare them right here. This one's higher quality and slightly different. This one's this one right there looks slightly older. And of course in a different position with the globe, less of the clouds and all that stuff. So again, my point here is, according to Heavy here, and we'll read what Heavy said specifically. Heavy says here, like I said, that fast forward to yesterday's night, a new globe with only half shown, just like the last time, but instead of flowers, we have Plusle and Minun, aka Pokemon Plus and Pokemon Minus. Now, again, you could be just saying that, like, oh, well, it's just two plushies, right? It's just Plus and Minus. Who cares, right? But do remember, very strangely enough, left, right there, you've got Plus, Minus on the Switch as well. This rumor, of course, which we're going to talk about today, which is what the main video is about today, this rumor was from 2014. It mentions a console with a dock or a terminal unit, which is what we actually got. Also, I keep getting freaking tweets here from Nintendo about their latest things happening. Either way, my point is, all these things, they just correlate really weirdly together, guys. And how would somebody back in, like, 2014, you know, this guy, how would he know that there was going to be a Switch? How would he know this? And, you know, it's just insane to me. Now, do remember, guys, it could also be that a lot of things here were just concepts at the time, right? He also mentions that a lot of concepts are flying between Nintendo and, like, the Pokemon Company and Nintendo. A lot of, like, Game Freak stuff is also being sent back and forth between them to see what would work the best. So, he does mention a few starters here and all that stuff. Do remember, these starters could be just fake, or they could have just been, you know, just concepts at the time, and they're starting something, you know, something totally different right now. But, you know, let's see what they actually have to say here. So, rumor. Information on next-gen Pokemon games, dubbed Pokemon Plus and Pokemon Minus. And here we go, guys. So, update on the 1st of the 13th, 2014. Tweets made by the author that expressed the game isn't necessarily for Wii U, and more information to come with the next within the next days. Do remember, this was posted in 2014. This was before the Switch existed. So, this guy literally confirmed this isn't for the Wii U. It's a mainline Pokemon game. It's a new-gen Pokemon game, but it's going to be on something brand new. So, here we go, guys. So, about the Pokemon rumor I posted, it may not be for Wii U. Stay tuned for details. And I think this is the guy who I can't really get my hands on the guy. I can't really find the guy who posted it, but I guess they mentioned him down here. Apparently his name is Gino. So let's continue. About the Pokemon Plus and Minus rumor I posted on Dual Pixels. New developments. Expect major update within the next 2 days. So here we go, guys. A source that Dual Pixels has taken information from in the past, Gino has claimed to have received information on the next Pokemon games. So let's see here. He claims that they will be dubbed Pokemon Plus and Pokemon Minus, and has provided us with the following information. This comes from the same guy who leaked Castlevania Mirrors of Fate being console-bound, the Kingdom Hearts HD remix, and countless of information on E3. Not all of his rumors have come true, of course. Like, all rumors won't always get through, you know, and all the leaks that you give will not always come true. Sometimes things just, you know, aren't true because, you know, the people who provided the information might be wrong. Despite this, a large amount of key ones have, such as our source for the first and third party titles for E3 2013. Stay tuned, as he told us updates regarding this rumor are on the way. So we can't find that. I guess it's that page is you know, it's too old now. I mean, it's almost like 4 or 5 years old now. So, you know. Now, please keep in mind that this could all be true right now, but all of this could change tomorrow, because that's how the gaming industry works. And this is the most important part, guys. Like I just mentioned earlier, right? All of this could have changed. Again, I've read this rumor before. I read it last night as well, before, you know, while preparing for everything for today's video. I read it and all that. And please remember, guys, like, please do remember that all of this, you know, it all could change, guys. It all freaking could change, and everything could be, you know, it could be nothing. It literally could be nothing, but please keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind, guys, that all this could change at any given time. So please remember that. All these things, they can end up being fake. They can end up being, you know, changed. They can end up being whatever at all times. So take it all with a grain of salt, and please understand that if this is real, then maybe not everything in it is real, or maybe everything in it was real for a time, but things changed. You know, it's been 4 or 5 years almost since this rumor was posted. It's almost 2019 soon. Literally on January the 6th, which is barely a month or so away right now, right? It's literally like a month or so, away. It's gonna be almost 5 years since this rumor was posted. In 5 years, things change, okay? A lot of things change. I mean, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee wasn't even conceived. Pokemon Go wasn't even in existence yet, when this rumor was posted. So a lot of things at Game Freak could have changed. So please keep that in mind. Plus and Minus could be real, but it could be totally changed from what it originally was. Maybe also Plus and Minus is just the code name for the games for now. Either way, let's continue. Because remember, we had Pokemon Rainbow was the code name for Pokemon Sun and Moon, right? Project Beluga was the project name for Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. So do remember that, guys. Either way. Now, wait. This comes from the same guy, Stay tuned as he told us updates regarding. Please keep in mind that it could all be true right now, but all these things can change tomorrow. That's how the gaming industry works. The reason that I put this up is because I see truth in this. All the feature images above is not supposed to be a screenshot. It's just a concept art made by an Unreal Engine developer. And yeah, he's referring to this image right here. This is not like an actual real image. That's just like, you know, a concept art. Game Freak were one of the first development studios inside Nintendo to receive alpha prototype hardware. Now have been upgraded to beta prototype hardware above. Again, this is what he's referring to here, is that Game Freak got access, or their hands on, the Switch early on. Now, how do we know that this most likely would be real? Because this has already been proven that Nintendo gave the alpha prototype versions of the Switch way earlier to people, the guys who were making Splatoon as well. They gave them the access to it super early, you know, so they could, you know, prepare things for it and, you know, work on it to see what they can do. And like they gave it super early to that. They gave them really super early access to that. So you kind of keep that in mind. Now, Game Freak, one of the first development studios inside Nintendo to receive alpha prototype hardware, and now been upgraded to beta prototype hardware. And again, this was in 2014. Have a few areas marked out. Tons of concept art traveling between Pokemon Company and Nintendo, you know, Company Limited. So again, this again proves it, right? There are concept art. There's a lot of things traveling between the two companies to figure out, like, okay, you know, does this make sense? Does that make sense? Should we do this? Should we do that? And, you know, that totally makes sense in my head. Game Freak plans to completely overhaul the basic systems of battle, simplifying the process. Now, this is the one that, like, gets me a bit confused. Like, does this imply that, like, this was the plan to begin with, you know, to kind of simplify the process of the gameplay? This gets me worried. Hopefully, this is something that changed over time. Again, this could have been changed over time, or this could have applied later on to, like, something like Let's Go. Maybe this is what they did with, you know, eventually with Let's Go Peach, Let's Go Eevee. They took that system and put it in there, or maybe it's different. Maybe they're gonna do something to the battle system in the next games. We'll see what happens, though. Now, the development team is going to put a lot of ideas they wanted to do for years in this game. So it seems like you know, the fact that Masuda is stepping down from the directing seat and giving the torch to the younger developers, this gets me excited because they could put a lot of interesting stuff into these games that we haven't seen before, right? They could do a lot of interesting stuff with just like new concepts and just a bunch of cool ideas. That gets me excited because this is definitely what's happening no matter what. We already have this. This is confirmed, essentially. I mean, this is somewhat confirmed because we know now that Masuda's stepping down and he wants to give them the chance to do, you know, the new young blood, the chance to do new things, because he knows that, you know, hey, maybe it's, you know, time for the younger generation to try, you know, their hands on Pokemon and see what they can do. Let's continue here. So let's see. 2 versions already have code names. Possibly final. Again, possibly final. Remember that. You know, big quotation marks on that one. Possibly final. But they're most likely code names. Pokemon Plus and Pokemon Minus. It makes listen, guys. It makes sense as code names, right? Plus, minus, right, for the Switch. This was before we even knew the Switch, what the Switch looked like. So having the codenames being plus and minus, it makes sense. Now, the theme is Old Tradition versus New Exploration. Now, this Old Tradition versus New Exploration, this also connects back to Piyuk's rumor, which I'll cover Piyuk's rumor again, because honestly, his rumor was insane, and I think there's some interesting stuff to it that I really want to cover again. So, Piyuk's rumor will be covering again very soon. So, new region, no name yet, is based on Southeast Asia with one large peninsula and many smaller islands. Now, this goes against the idea of this being based on South America. This, again, the Southeast Asia thing could have changed. They could have changed this. They could have, you know, been turned into something else. We never know. 3 new starters with no names. Water evolves into Water Steel and is a squat, teardrop-shaped humanoid that has a jar filled with on its head. As it evolves, it grows taller and the jar bigger until it needs another set of arms to hold it on its head. Fire evolves into Fire Fairy and is a tiny cute goat with fire blowing out of its horns. Its horns and look evolves more menacing until it has curly rams like horns and a motorcycle hot rod looking look, I guess. Grass evolves into Grass Electric and it starts with a leap for a face with a nubby root as a body and evolves until it grows into an electric producing palm tree with each flower petal having a different face. Now again, this right here could have changed. Again, this was most likely just a concept art, right? This was most likely just concept art or concept IDs or whatever, and this could have changed. Who knows? Now, the main legendary for Pokemon Plus is Shifu looking lion looking psychic ground type. Now, this could have been also confused here, that the Shifu lion-looking thing was actually ended up being, you know, something like maybe Solgaleo instead, right? And he said he was Psychic Ground type that has multiple faces. The Pokemon Minus legendary is a Ghost Fairy type that has 2 dashes for eyes and is a hurricane-like appendages with many arms and hands. That sounds very unlikely because I never could imagine them make. I mean, this sounds more like Hoopa Unbound, honestly. That just sounds more like Hoopa Unbound, like hurricane appendages, many arms and hands. That just sounds like Hoopa Unbound, honestly. Now, more traditional Pokemon-like gameplay will be on the handheld controllers, while an all-new gameplay aspect will be on the terminal units. So this is where the Switch stuff gets more interesting, right? More traditional Pokemon-like gameplay will be on the handheld controller. Now, remember one thing Ishihara said about Pokemon 2019. This was official news, by the way. Ishihara specifically said, Pokemon 2019 will have gameplay aimed for the handheld audience. It will be based more on the handheld gameplay that you're used to from Pokemon X and Y and Sun and Moon. That's what the 2019 game is going to be like. But we know it's coming to the Switch, so we know it's still going to be playable in, the terminal or the docked mode, which then, gives the question here, while an all-new gameplay aspect will be available, will be on the terminal unit. The terminal unit meaning the dock. Before we knew the dock was called the dock, right? Or the docking unit, whatever you want to call it. They call it terminal back then, but again, remember here, guys, this is already confirmed now. This right here has been confirmed that this is what the gameplay is going to be like in handheld mode. It's going to be your traditional Pokemon gameplay, while a totally different aspect of gameplay is going to be on the terminal unit. Now, this was before Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee started development, or even were, considered being a thing. So, most likely, this was not related to Let's Go, or maybe this relates to, the next games, and maybe some new aspect to playing the game in, while sitting on your couch and playing in dock mode, some totally new aspect to it, overall. So, this gets me, again, really intrigued and really just interested in knowing, what is this all about. Now, they mentioned here that Pokken Fighters, or Pokken Tournament, whatever, render that was teased was running on alpha kits. Beta kits now have advanced cell shading, going for a very detailed living anime look. Now, this would be awesome if this was real. I think, especially because Pokken Fighters has, like, this level of detail that's kind of beyond what I would have expected ever from a Pokemon game. I feel like having Smash Bros, like, graphics, like, if you guys have seen the graphics on, like, Incineroar, like, if they could have Incineroar graphics from Smash Bros in the 2019 Gen 8 games, that's the graphics I want to see, right? That's the graphics I think would be perfect, where they wouldn't be too ludicrous, where people would be like, this doesn't look good, or it looks too much unlike a Pokemon, but just, like, add more detail to the Pokemon, add more, better textures, more, make the, if a Pokemon is, it's got fur, like, the fur on Incineroar in, Smash Bros Ultimate, have that same fur on, Incineroar in Gen 8. That would be really cool. So this would be very possible now, because they've been working on this game, by the time it releases, it's going to be 4 years of development, give or take. So it's going to be a long time of development, which means that they definitely should have had something, kind of ready to go. Now, the new team villains are described as a bunch of Sohei zealots. Now, I've talked about these in the past, types, who have discovered the player's best friend as a reincarnation of a special type of person who only is alive every 100 years. They believe the old system where people were given a Pokemon egg, and they stick to that Pokemon until they die, and whose function in society dictates what role that person is. They are against the modern trend of Pokemon trainers and capturing multiple Pokemon, and are making a holy pilgrimage to evoke the legendary old legendaries to turn everything back to normal. They keep the player away from their friend, saying that the special one, who can do amazing things like Mega Evolve Pokemon without using use of a Mega Ring, which, fair enough, only love is that of a Pokemon and not people. It is planned to be revealed later that for the special one to fulfill their role in society, they must be mortally sacrificed to awaken the legendaries. That's kind of brutal, Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit morbid, as my friend Mike put it. Routes connecting the island together are water bridges, but clumps of islands are connected together by underwater tunnels, which, again, fair enough. That sounds a little bit weird. Don't know how likely that is. Also, the fact that the islands are being mentioned here. I feel like islands were kind of, a thing in Sun and Moon. So this could have been, again, guys, this could have just been a jumbled mess of different rumors, like different information that was sent to him. Because remember, if Gen 8 was being made at the same time, right? If Gen 8 started development, then also Sun and Moon was still being, finished up, because we didn't even know Sun and Moon existed back then. Remember, 2014, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire came out. Then we had Sun and Moon 2 years later in 2016, right? That's when it came out. And again, like, think about that, right? If this was still in development back then and it was just kind of like a small thing that was happening on the side, this could all be, mixed up information here from, different generations. So, who knows, man? Many Pokemon from Hoenn and Sinnoh will make a return, which, fair enough. There is a stone Slowking statue that is a parody of the reclining Buddha at Wat Pho, Thailand. A variety of Pokemon gyms. One is a male system that only uses flying types and focuses on sky battles. One uses baby Pokemon. One is implied to be a real vampire and uses ghost and dark Pokemon. There's also a military-like leader who uses fire and steel Pokemon. Don't know if that would be like, Surge uses, electric types? I think maybe steel type here or there. Well, that's it. The island gameplay with gym leaders and the Elite Four island can be played entirely on the handheld and can be blown up on the terminal for home play. So the island gameplay here, and what he mentions down here, what the mainland is, basically the mainland down here, we're going to read that in a second, is basically like a MMO-like place. So, new Pokemon types similar to Shinies, no details yet on how they work, but I've been told they changed the game significantly. Now remember, the Chinese Riddler also, I think it was, actually no, I think it was a Japanese Riddler, yes. The Japanese Riddler also mentioned there's going to be a brand new Shiny type in the Pokemon Generation 8 game. Now again, we didn't get no new Shiny types in, Let's Go, but that makes sense, right? There shouldn't be any there. But what if they do, a new shiny type, or basically like, how shinies have become really easy to catch now, guys? Like shinies are way easier than in the past. They were in the past, right? So I think that if they make it like a new form of shinies, it most likely would be like a super rare version of shinies that is just a step above. So to make it still a challenge to get shinies in this next game, and that may be one of the new things that you want to try out and see how it works. So they mentioned here as well that the mainland is an MMO-like environment that is exclusive to the terminal and is shared by both versions, which sounds very strange, very weird. Now, players all over the world online can chat, trade, intermingle, and experience new updated storylines on the mainland. Now, updated storylines, I don't know about that. This is Pokemon talking about. They never would do DLC or updates like that. Pokemon Band is a new mechanic introduced to get people involved who do not battle. A cooperative experience where Pokemon dance and make music together to achieve the highest group score, which sounds like something they would do. Pokemon Bank are actually locations on the main island and handheld areas where people can import Pokemon from the past, or past Pokemon, mainly from X and Y, and into the new game. Cool. Note from the Dual Stat, our servers are currently, they're being overloaded. If you're unable to access the site, please check out our Facebook page and Twitter for future references. And there you go, guys. That is the actual rumor itself. Now, again, guys, please understand, this could all be nothing. This could all be just literally nothing. So I'm just want to ask you guys, in your opinion, in your mighty opinion, what do you guys think about this? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? What do you guys think about this whole rumor? Also, my room is a little bit of a mess. I'm sorry. I'd take care of my baby brother this morning, and he just messed everything up. Usually, I'd fix stuff, but yeah, you got a little blue Christmas tree down there and weird stuff. But either way, that's besides the point. My point is this, though, guys. What do you feel about this? Do you think plus and minus seem realistic now? Do you think they still seem unrealistic and unlikely to happen? Based on the new tree that showed up, based on the fact that the Switch ended up being a thing, right? I always drop my Switch, jeez. Based on the fact that the Switch exists now, and we didn't know about it back in 2014. This was 4 years ago, okay? 5 years ago almost, by the time we, 2019 rolls around. It's going to be 5 years since that rumor was posted, and they predicted the Switch. The Switch was there. It was mentioned. A terminal, handheld mode, terminal unit. It's a thing. It's actually real. So my question to you, ladies and gentlemen, is, what do you think about this? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? Do you think it's gonna happen? Do you think maybe that this was like this rumor was a mixture of like a little bit of Sun and Moon, a little bit of this, a little bit of like kind of a mixture of everything together, like a little bit of Sun and Moon stuff, a little bit of Gen 8 stuff, and kind of just like a mixture of all these things, and just kind of like put into a single rumor, and then a few things changed. Some things went here, some things went there. Because remember, they may have started development in like 2014 or whatever, or maybe in 2013 as well, when they got access to the actual alpha kits, or whatever it may be. They may have actually started development on it, but they may not have had the actual full-on game concept and ID and all that in the world where they're going to base it fully established yet. So things could have changed, guys. Again, it's a rumor, so that's, keep in mind, it's a rumor. It's not a leak. It's not a leak, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a leak until it's been confirmed. So, guys, thanks so much for watching. My name has been Ruffled Reality. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow, or actually later today, maybe. I'll probably do another video, guys. We'll see what happens, though. Either way, thanks so much for watching. My name is Ruffled Reality. Have a great day, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.